Hello everyone and welcome to another video. You know what is a hot topic right now in the Doors community? The idea of a brand new boss entity coming to Floor 2. That's right, with the release of the trailer for Floor 2, one new entity was showcased at the very end of the video, one which will likely be implemented as a boss. Today I will be breaking down what this entity is, what it looks like, as well as how it may function. I don't want to keep you waiting anymore, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alrighty, so what exactly is this new boss coming to Floor 2? Well, at the end of the trailer for the update, a giant pair of teeth accompanied by a large tentacle comes out of a gaping pit. Now, with just this clip of footage alone, we don't have much to work with. However, using other aspects of the trailer, we can piece together that this entity is very important to the update. Important enough to be a major obstacle or something of that nature. For one, the reveal of this entity is saved for the very end of the video, even after the release date reveal. And this is a common practice for highlighting important events in media. Take for example after credit scenes of movies, which usually often contain big reveals or things like that. For the reveal of this large entity to be at the very end of the trailer implies that it is significant. Another thing which points to this entity being a boss is that based on the trailer we can find large piles of screeches on the ground. Now you might be asking what screech of all things has to do with this new entity, and believe it or not, but they are actually heavily connected. You see, the new boss entity is in fact a variation of Screech. We know this as the model for the upcoming entity named Screechworm was leaked a while back, and this model has striking similarities to the entity at the end of the trailer. Here, take a look at both the leaked Screechworm model and the new entity, and you can tell they look almost the same. Both characters have very similar teeth as well as lip structures, not to mention how both have tentacles. It is very likely that this new boss will be the Screechworm entity which was leaked, and this point ties back into how it is most likely a boss. Now, if you recall, once you defeat the figure boss in the library, you can encounter destroyed rooms, which most notably contain piles of Figure's flesh. The point is, once you defeat Figure, a major boss of the hotel, you can find a part of them afterwards, and I think the same thing is happening with Screechworm. Once we defeat this boss entity, we'll be able to find piles of screeches around the following rooms. This would imply that Screechworm would be the Room 50 boss, which I believe makes a lot of sense, seeing how it is confirmed Figure is returning based on the trailer, and how it would be more narratively satisfying if they were the final boss of the mines. Okay, so now that we know that the entity at the end of the trailer is likely going to be the Room 50 boss in the mines, what do we know about their appearance? Well, their leaked model actually gives us a ton of information. We know based on this model that they will have multiple eyes as well as what appears to be nostrils. We also know from the trailer that they have at least one tentacle, and how their skin appears to be a pale white shade. We also know from the trailer that they will be massive. We can already see how the entity towers over the locker, which is a similar height to that of a player. Overall, they seem to be a very large and substantial threat, and I feel they will make a good boss. However, with that out of the way, what do we know about their functionality? Well, the information given to us in the trailer is very limited. Obviously, we know they emerge from a giant pit, and this makes sense as the word worm is in their name, implying that they would be underground and good at burrowing. However, other than that, there really isn't much. There is one theory I had, and that is that they would use their large tentacle to grab onto players and drag them into their pit, resulting in their death. I could see this mechanic being used in a scenario where they could appear in multiple holes scattered throughout an area, and they would try to grab nearby players who are trying to escape said area by completing some sort of task. Another theory I had is maybe they would act similarly to Figure in a way, where they would go around the map seeking players to kill. However, due to their size, they wouldn't be able to turn easily or something like that. I'm not really sure how this entity could function, and there isn't enough evidence in the game to draw an accurate conclusion. So, this is why I would love to hear your theories about this entity in the comments. Anyways, that was essentially everything about Screechworm and Doors. To summarize, they're a massive variation of Screech which is theorized to be the Room 50 boss of Floor 2, and not much besides their general appearance is known. Other than that, there really isn't much to say, so with all of that being said, thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed.